Record. Would you please state your name?
My name? My name is Connie Falconeri. At least, that's what it says on my original birth certificate. Constanza Louise Falconeri.
But you go by Kate Howard now.
That's right. I changed my name legally when I was 18.
So, Kate, have you seen this gun before?
Yes, I have.
Where have you seen this gun, Miss Howard?
Detective Falconeri found it in my office. When he questioned me, he showed me the gun.
The gun was recovered on the day after the accident, correct?
Yes, that's my understanding.
Were you in your office that day?
Yes.
Alone?
No.
Who was with you?
Sonny.
Let the record state that the defendant, Sonny Corinthos, was in Miss Howard's office on the day after the shooting. What were you doing in your office?
I'm sorry?
Well, you and Mr. Corinthos, what were you doing in your office? Was he there for a fitting?
No.
A chat?
We talked.
Is that it? Miss Howard, I have to remind you that you are under oath.
We made love.
Where?
Your Honor, how is this relevant?
Let's move it along, Mr. Martinez.
Of course, Your Honor. When you and Mr. Corinthos were making love in your office, did you remove any of his clothing?
All right, this is outrageous. Do we really need to listen to the district attorney reveal all the romantic details?
The gun was recovered from the witness's office. Now, if in fact she and Mr. Corinthos were making love on the premises, the gun could have fallen from his pocket.
Which presupposes that my client had the gun, that the gun belonged to him, which has not been established. So this is speculative and it's inappropriate.
Sustained. Let's stick to the facts and evidence, Mr. Martinez.
Is this your gun, Miss Howard?
No, it is not my gun.
No further questions.
Ms. Davis?
Miss Howard, are you sure this isn't yours?
Asked and answered.
Withdrawn. Did you see Mr. Corinthos drop the gun in your office?
No.
Did you see Mr. Corinthos use this gun to shoot out the tires of Anthony Zacharra's car?
No, of course not.
No further questions.
Good so far. The DA has been able to pin the gun on Dad. Thought they found it in Kate's office.
Call your next witness, Mr. Martinez.
I wish that were possible, Your Honor. At this time, I'd like to introduce into evidence a statement that Mr. Zacharra made to the police.
Objection.
On what grounds?
I don't know, the Sixth Amendment. My client has the right to cross-examine any testimony offered by the prosecution.
Is there a reason Mr. Zacharra can't appear before this court?
Fear, Your Honor. His attorney, Angela Dwyer, filed a motion asking that he be excused from testifying in person for fear of his life.
I'm good, Your Honor, but I don't recall a time when I have ever cross-examined a witness and they've dropped dead.
Fear of reprisal from your client, Ms. Davis.
If Mr. Zacharra were so afraid of my client, perhaps he should have gotten an order of protection.
Mr. Martinez?
Perhaps Mr. Zacharra felt that given Mr. Corinthos' profession,
Mr. Corinthos is a coffee importer.
any attempt at all to enlist the help of the police would trigger a violent reprisal from Mr. Corinthos and or his associates.
Unless Mr. Zacharra is allergic to caffeine, his claim that my client is a risk is inflammatory and prejudicial.
All right, enough. Strike the DA's last remark and Ms. Davis's rebuttal. Counselors, this is your last warning. Stick to the evidence before us.
But that's the problem, Your Honor. The witness is not before us, so I can't ask him any questions. So I'm asking the court to deny counsel's request that Mr. Zacharra's statement to the police be allowed as evidence.
So ruled.
That's not fair. That's not fair. Anthony told me himself that he saw Sonny shoot out his
Not
tires.
another word, young lady, or I'll have you thrown out of my courtroom.
Your Honor, if the officer who took Mr. Zacharra's statement were to deliver it as sworn testimony, would that be acceptable?
Hearsay, Your Honor.
If Mr. Zacharra's testimony is so vital to your case, then I suggest you find a way to prevail upon him to appear.
Sorry I'm late. Couldn't find the parking space. Did I miss anything?
Who are you?
Anthony Zacharra.
It seems my next witness is ready to take the stand, Your Honor. Change of heart since the last time we spoke, Mr. Zacharra.
I'll admit I was hesitant to testify. But the more I thought about it, the less concerned I was for my own personal safety. Getting justice for that little girl and her father, that's what this is all about. That's what's important.
We've already heard from your wife that the defendant, Sonny Corinthos, threatened your life. Can you tell us what happened after Mr. Corinthos left the house?
Mr. Corinthos is a man of his word. When he makes a threat, he follows through on it.
Objection. Is the witness a mind reader?
Sustained.
Just tell us what you did next, Mr. Zacharra.
I got the hell out of there. Headed straight for the airport.
Can you tell us what route you followed?
Got on 115. I was just on the part that, winds along the cliffs, and I realized I was being followed. So I keep looking in the rearview mirror, and I see he's got a gun. Next thing I know, my tires are shot out, and I'm swerving into oncoming traffic.
Oh, you're very lucky to be alive.
Amen.
Mr. Zacharra, when you looked into the rearview mirror, did you recognize the shooter?
Yes, I did. It was him. Sonny Corinthos.
There's that look again. That you were speeding along a winding road at night with the headlights of the car behind you glaring into your rearview mirror. And yet, you were able to see the face of the shooter 50 feet behind you.
50 feet? I wish. Son of a bitch was tailgating. Pardon my French.
Mr. Zacharra, you're no stranger to the courtroom, are you?
Objection. Prejudicial.
I just want to make sure that Mr. Zacharra understands the penalty for perjury.
Objection. Your Honor, Ms. Davis is clearly using innuendo to undermine the witness.
Sustained. Let's skip the editorializing, Miss Davis, and get on to your question.
Mr. Zacharra, despite the speeding vehicles, the dark night, the high beams, you're able to identify the shooter as Mr. Corinthos.
Yes. His son, the cop who took my statement, he didn't want to believe me either. But it doesn't change the facts.
Which are?
I've got great eyesight.
Really?
I eat a lot of carrots.
Good for you. Mr. Zacharra, would you be so kind as to read this for the court?
It's fine print a mile away, Counselor.
And yet you can see Mr. Corinthos' face through a tinted windshield at night. How about this? No further questions.
Redirect, Your Honor. Mr. Zacharra, Miss Davis's clever theatrics aside, is it your sworn testimony that you recognized the defendant, Sonny Corinthos, as the man who shot out your tires?
That's right.
No further questions, Your Honor.
You step down, Mr. Zacharra.
Sorry, kid. I tried my best.
Any further witnesses, Mr. Martinez?
Prosecution rests, Your Honor.
As rested, the defense will now present its case. Miss Davis, call your first witness.
The defense will not be calling any witnesses, Your Honor.
No witnesses?
What the hell are you doing?
My job.
Okay, but as much money as I pay you, you could have gotten an expert witness who put me on a stand.
And have the DA cross-examine you, no way. The defense rests, Your Honor.
He's going to tell you that Mr. Corinthos is too smart a man to leave a gun behind in his girlfriend's office. But by Miss Howard's own admission, she and Mr. Corinthos were caught up in a moment of passion. Clothes were shed. Now, it's the state's contention that in the heat of this moment, Mr. Corinthos dropped his gun on the very spot where the police recovered it. Mr. Corinthos openly admitted his intention to murder Anthony Zacharra. Mr. Zacharra swore that he saw Mr. Corinthos shoot out his tires. As I promised, all you have to do is follow the logic. Sonny Corinthos had motive, means, and opportunity. For the sake of that little girl and her father who both died, for the sake of a grieving mother whose life has been shattered, I ask that you convict Michael Sonny Corinthos on all counts.
Well, the district attorney is right about one thing. Justice does need to be found for that little girl and her father that were killed on that awful night. But it is not just to convict the wrong man, and you have heard witness after witness swear that Mr. Corinthos did not shoot anyone, with the exception of Anthony Zacharra, whose integrity is questionable as his eyesight. All right, let's talk about the gun that was found in Miss Howard's office. That gun could have been left by anyone. It could have been left by the cleaning staff. It could have been left by Miss Howard's staff at Crimson. It could have been left by Miss Howard. So really, all you have is a story made up by the prosecution to try to explain this horrible accident. But it's all conjecture, speculation, no proof. There is no proof. Because the story that the prosecution told you isn't true. Mr. Corinthos did not cause the accident that killed Cole and Hope Thornhart. But somebody did. And the police need to be able to find that person. So I am asking you to do the right thing and acquit my client. The cops need to get back.